Please stand for the National Anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright broad stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
You guys can sit down if you'd like. Well, good afternoon, everybody. What a beautiful day. I want to get started by thanking our proofreader of the program this year and actually putting my name in it. So thank you very much, Big Pound. I appreciate it. Last year I got to speak, but I wasn't in the program, so thank you. On a more serious note, I'd like to thank Mr. Paul for inviting me to share in this amazing day with this fantastic community. It is my distinct pleasure to be here with you all to share on this joyous occasion. I'd like to welcome Dr. Alicia Cabral, all the school committee members, Mr. Paul, Mr. Flanagan, Mrs. Quigley, all the administrators and staff. You have provided these students with an abundant opportunities for learning, growing, and evolving. I am humbled and honored to be here to celebrate with you the class of 2019 for Oliver Ames High School. I have been lucky enough to be in Easton now for 14 years, working with so many of these graduates, whether it be at church or on the soccer field, since they're about 4 years old. Yes, that means I am very, very old, and I am losing all my hair, slowly but surely. Yes, it does mean that. I'd like to thank you, God, for the gift of these graduates, the years they have spent together, and the friendships and memories they have made throughout these years. What a journey it has been, from victories and defeats, both inside and outside the classroom, on the fields and in their homes. I ask God to bless the community of professional educators, administrators, coaches, and support staff for all their hard work, preparing you for the next phase of your lives. Special blessing for anyone that may be retiring this year. And of course, I cannot forget to bless the proud parents and grandparents of these graduates for the encouragement and help that you have provided over the years and your presence here today. We pray for guidance for the class of 2019 as they go off into new directions, and that grace may fill their lives. Oliver Ames has prepared you and given you the strength to go change the world. Who will do it? What will you do? How will you do it? Why will you do it? When? And then where will you be? I have no idea. All I know is that someone here will be changing the world, and it is yours to change. For me, I just ask you to be open. Be open to life. Be open to opinions. Be open to others. Take chances, meet people, love people, never hold back, give it your all, and when you do fall and when you do fail, make sure you fail forward and keep on moving. As we leave to go our separate ways, let us continue to change the world, knowing that graduation is not the end of your journey, but the beginning of a new chapter in your life. We cherish the things that we have learned, and we treasure the friends we have made. We pray that God will take us by the hand and hold us tightly in the years before us, ahead of us, and of course, May God continue to bless you and keep you safe today and always. Amen.
Family, faculty, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2019. Welcome to graduation. We're here. Soon, these lovely gentlemen and ladies in the blue and white will walk across the stage and receive our long-awaited pieces of paper. But before receiving these honors, I'd like to take a moment to appreciate the people who have already faced this scary thing called life and are helping us through it too. You who answer the call of a 5 a.m. alarm and arrive early to school so we can make up a test. You who light conference rooms long after the last bell to help us learn better, to make our school a better place, a safer place. And you who pack our PB&Js and shout embarrassingly at our soccer games, whose warmth and support has allowed us to succeed. To our teachers and faculty, friends and family, who have earned the caps on our heads as much as we have. Here's to you. Thank you. Now, to my fellow graduates. We made it. In the words of contemporary street poet Drake, we started from the bottom, now we are here. We now stand atop the pinnacle of 4 years of lessons and memories at OA. Looking back, we all began our journeys as wide-eyed freshmen, scrambling through the labyrinth known as Oliver Ames, desperate to avoid the horror of being late to class. For me, lost as I was, there was one class that was easy to find: freshman physics. Pulsing country music and a stream of impressively loud laughter. These were signals that Mr. Pamella's room was near. We had great projects that year. Make an oven from a shoebox, a car from a mousetrap. But everyone was really looking forward to launch bottle rockets. We crafted our 2-liter spacecraft, and finally, one sunny day, we lined up our rocket launchers on the football field in neat rows. But wait a minute. The rockets were facing the wrong direction. The small-minded overachiever I was, I tried to point out this oversight. Mr. Pamela, why are we firing these rockets sideways? Real rockets shoot upwards. Duh. I was ready to be the first kid to send a soda rocket to the moon. But his response? Because we're not looking for how high they rise, but how far they go from where they start. This simple project analogizes a universal truth. I had been looking at success in only one way. As a freshman, we thought that winning was having the shiniest car, the whitest shoes, and with class rank and honor societies, we sometimes forget that learning is defined by progress, not perfection. Teachers recognize this. That the best student is the kid who goes from a D+ to a B-, not an A- to an A. Moving forward, we don't have to be afraid of being a work in progress. And I know we can learn a lot more from our teachers than some physics equations. Let's turn our heads and show some love to our teachers. Sophomore year arrived to the tune of clinking car keys and sweatpants and the squeak of puffy varsity jackets. With letters in our chests and lanyards in our pockets, we finally felt like high schoolers instead of wretched froshes. With clout, confidence, and a whole grade below us on the food chain, OA finally opened up to us, and we opened up to OA. But then came sophomore bio. Amidst the confusing fog of cladograms, phylogenetic trees, and snail and elodea labs, one lesson that stood out was Miss Van Riel's presentation on the diversity of life. In her PowerPoint slides, she described how the wide variation amongst the plants and animal species of Earth was what made life special, what allowed our planet to survive and thrive. A fun fact, but now I see there's deeper wisdom there. Take our class as a microcosm of our planet. Despite our shared experiences, I wouldn't chalk up our journey as a class as one of unwavering unity. No, but that's part of what made us special. Our diversity of values and passions. We're a class of independence, quiet perseverance, and passion. We have fashion designers, creators, future rappers, CEOs of home design companies, and also construction workers, restaurant waitstaff, and future Shaw's managers. You know who you are. And it's by appreciating this diversity that our class truly shines. Before we knew it, junior year rolled in over all of us like a storm cloud of stress and deadlines, and it rained down in every flavor. Sports, clubs, grades, AP, ACT, SAT. Kids usually found breezing through classes could be found nose deep in Spark Notes before English quizzes. When did high school get so hard? For me personally, this stress came in the form of coming home after a long swim practice, only to be greeted by a huge pile of homework and deadlines lurking in every corner. At some point, I truly felt I couldn't do it. Yet through our struggles and past our obstacles, each and every one of us made it here. And having conquered these, we each look forward to a unique set of challenges ahead. Perhaps most uncomfortable is the uncertainty of it all. By now, many of us are probably used to being barraged by our parents. What are you doing next year? Where are you going to college? What are you going to major in? What job are you going to get? What are you going to name your firstborn child? I know, I personally don't know the answers to all these questions, and I'd be mildly concerned if you did. In matters of such importance, I would put my trust in no one else but actor John Krasinski, who plays Jim from The Office, when he says, "Remember fondly the discomfort when you were asked to push yourself further than you were ever sure you could go, and then the elation when you finally got there." Thus, junior year serves as a reminder that when battling through the worst, there's light at the other end of the tunnel. We really embraced that light senior year. Our vision as a class grew more mature and caring. With eyes on our futures, we sorted out our collective drama. And for the first time, we realized the truth. We are all on the same team. We rallied together at sports games. We paraded together through the lower schools. We lit up the stateroom and the harbor with our music and voices. And we spread kindness into our community, cleaning parks, schools, and Easton facilities. We volunteered. We celebrated our talents at Battle of the Talents. And we laid new traditions in our school and community in the forms of Oscar Night and the Senior Celebration Walk. It's at events like these that the real world melted away into our world. And we realized that high school, college, and our futures are just webs of people. Stories have been written. Everyone's chapter is different. But the one thing we all share are these blue and white tassels and the memories, lessons, and values they represent. Whether you like it or not, your story began as an OA Tiger. And as Principal Paul challenged us to do from our first day at OA, sitting in the auditorium in a room full of strangers, I'm proud to say we've made our mark. And at the end of the day, after the last bell has rung, we will still have a community as the class of 2019. So I ask, look around you to your left and right, behind you and back to those bleachers. These are the relationships that really matter. Looking forward, having reflected over the highlights of our years at OA, who knows what the future will bring? But, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. reminds us, take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. I wish everyone the best of luck. Thank you. Now, it is my honor to welcome our class speaker. everyone's favorite MC, Ryan Murphy.
Thank you, Drew. At first, my speech was just going to be me reciting an entire Andy Grammer song, but unfortunately, Mr. Paul already used that idea. So I'm going to have to think of something else. Family, friends, faculty, thank you all for coming out to celebrate with us. Fellow members of the class of 2019, congratulations. We are about to become high school graduates. This is an elite distinction, so elite, in fact, that only 97.8 of all of Ames students accomplish it. Congratulations. The journey that has brought us here has been a long and winding one, and I'm sure that many of you are sitting here feeling a little uncertain, unsure whether to be happy or sad, unsure how these last 4 years felt so long but flew by at the same time, and unsure where the rest of your lives will take you. Luckily for anyone who is feeling this way, I've prepared possibly the best graduation speech of all time and figured out all of the answers to life's questions. But before I begin bestowing my knowledge and wisdom, I believe some thank yous are due. I would like to thank my classmates for selecting me to be your class speaker. It is amazing to me that in a class full of SoundCloud rappers, YouTube vloggers, D1 athletes, and Ivy-bound scholars, you chose the guy known for annoyingly advertising Tuxedos by Marion to be your class speaker. Thank you for that. I would also like to thank our amazing music department for providing us with a soundtrack for today's ceremony. Specifically, I would like to thank Mr. Korn. I'm still a little salty about that detention you gave me, but it's all good. Now, I bring up Mr. Korn because he has had me since freshman year, which means he remembers me not just as your courageous class speaker, but also as the frightened freshman I once was. Much like now, freshman year was also an uncertain time. I was excited to go to a school where you didn't have to stand on Mr. Siliberto's wall of shame if you forgot your ID at lunch, but at the same time, nervous about what high school had in store. During the first month of freshman year, I could not for the life of me figure out how the schedule worked, despite the fact that the periods simply just go in alphabetical order. There was one day I had lost my paper schedule. My phone was dead, and of course I had my schedule as the lock screen, but it was dead. And I found myself in the middle of the day with no idea what class came next. I looked around me for people I knew, but I saw no one. Panicking, I took my best guess and walked into Senor G's classroom, desperately hoping I had Spanish. To my dismay, I found an empty classroom containing only Senor G himself. Before he could even greet me, I began sputtering about how I had lost my schedule, my phone was dead, I had no idea what I was doing, where I was going, and I was already 50 minutes late to whatever class I was in. Whatever teacher I had would probably just give me attention. After that, they'd probably just expel me. Senor G calmed me down. He looked at my schedule on X2, and he explained to me that I was supposed to be at lunch and that I had his class next. Now, I eventually figured out how the schedule worked, and I never had to break down in front of Senor G again. But I still had the feeling like I was making everything up as I went. This trend continued all the way up until senior year, when I was seconds away from missing the flight home from DECA and nearly sent Mrs. Sweeney into cardiac arrest. Sorry about that, Miss Sweeney. Now, contemplating my awkwardness and disorganization led me to a quote from author Kurt Vonnegut, who said that in life, we have to continually be jumping off cliffs and finding our wings on the way down. The beginning of high school may have been a cliff, but somehow the class of 2019 found its wings. At first, we only came together when we were forced to sit together at the seasonal pep rallies. 4 years later, our grade is coming together to start our own tradition of Oscars night and continue the tradition of running from the cops on turf night. However, just as we are hitting our collective stride regarding this high school thing, the time has come to take another leap, this time into the so-called real world. You may be thinking this would be a good time for me to bestow that knowledge and wisdom I was talking about earlier, but the truth is, I know nothing more about how the world works than any of you do. To quote the great Socrates, who I learned about from the even greater Mr. Gillis, all I know is that I know nothing. There are no secret words of wisdom to allow us to conquer life's uncertainties. Instead, we have to realize that nothing in life is certain. If even genius philosophers like Socrates and Mr. Gillis don't know exactly what they're doing, then neither should you. Instead of focusing on getting the perfect job, the perfect house, the perfect Instagram follower ratio, focus on taking risks, experimenting, and enjoying this gift called life. Your life may not be perfect, but that's okay. Steve Jobs started as a college dropout, Tom Brady a backup quarterback. Lil Uzi Vert started as a cashier at a dollar store. My point is, everyone starts somewhere, and what matters is not where you end up, but the journey that gets you there. As we approach these new beginnings, I would encourage you all to take a break from looking to the future and reflect on the growth that has brought you here. There was a time not too long ago when your social status was determined not by likes or followers, but by how many silly bands you could fit on your wrist without cutting off circulation to your arm. Before we had to worry about paying for college tuition, our biggest concern was having enough money to walk from the middle school to Tedeschi's to buy 99-cent Arizona. And there was that really weird phase when everyone was super into yo-yos. Somehow we made it through all this silly band trading and yo-yo trick training and have moved on to more important endeavors, like loitering in the OA parking lot and using new and exciting technologies to keep big tobacco companies in business. In all seriousness, our class has matured tremendously as a whole, and I can say with confidence that we are ready to achieve great things in the future. If there comes a time when we feel like we have no idea what we're doing, just remember that no one really does. When opportunities present themselves, jump at them. Don't be afraid of falling. The risk is there, but so is the reward of flight. I would also like to ask everyone to keep our classmate Lexi Simoes in their thoughts today, who unfortunately couldn't be here to celebrate with us. Fellow graduates, enjoy this day. Use it to reflect on what has brought you here and contemplate your future. Congratulations, I wish you all the best of luck. And now our valedictorian and baking extraordinaire, Grace Chang.
Good afternoon, everyone. I would like to start by congratulating the class of 2019. We finally did it. In addition, I would like to take a moment to thank the wonderful people in our lives that helped us get to this point. After 4 great years at Oliver Ames High School, we have a lot to be thankful for. We have received a top-notch education thanks to the amazing faculty, parents, and peers. Thank you to the faculty that believe in us every day and support us in all of our endeavors. And special thanks to the faculty leaving OA with us, Mrs. Curtin, Mrs. Duggan, Mrs. Hadge, and Mrs. Whalen. Thank you to the parents. Thank you to the parents who guide us through the scary thing called life, as you guys will always be our unconditional support system. Thank you to the amazing friends and classmates that have made this place such a wonderful community. As you might know, I am pretty studious, but a lot of you know that I'm also a pretty great baker too. Yeah. I carried cupcakes throughout the high school hallways, giving them to my teachers and classmates, and sold them at numerous school events. Even though my baking and decorating skills are pretty good right now, they have not always been like that. I started baking when I was 8 years old, and I started by making cookies: chocolate chip, chocolate crinkle, and cranberry oatmeal. By my 5th time making the cranberry oatmeal cookies, I wanted to try improving the recipe. As an inexperienced baker, I hypothesized that if sugar is what made the cookies taste delicious, maybe I should add more to make them taste even better. As I conducted my experiment, I turned the oven light on and pulled a chair over to stand on so I would be tall enough to look through the oven window. I stared at the cookies in the oven, observing the additional sugar melt and mix with the butter, bubbling to create a caramel-like substance. The cookies came out overly sweet and rock hard. If I threw them out a window, they would probably break it. Nonetheless, my hypothesis was dreadfully inaccurate. That day, I tried something new, made a mistake, and learned from it. Because the only thing you can do is learn from it, get back up, and try again. I have learned so many lessons through baking, and I have learned so many lessons throughout my years here at Oliver Ames. So here's my recipe for a successful future. Step 1. Have a support system ready to help you at any time. Family, friends, and the community around you will help and guide you through the good times, the bad times, throughout it all. Much like the flour, butter, eggs, and sugar in any baked good, they are the structural support system necessary to the start of innovation and success. As Michael Schur, the producer and writer of The Office, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and The Good Place said, "You can't achieve anything entirely by yourself. There's a support system that is a basic requirement of human existence. To be happy and successful on Earth, you just have to have people that you rely on." With the support system around us, we are able to take risks and experiment as we have a community around us that will help us when we fall down. Step 2. Take a leap of faith and don't be afraid to make a mistake. As many of you have been told by Mr. Gotzel, Mrs. Almeida, and Mrs. Whalen, the inventor of the world-famous and delectable chocolate chip cookie, Ruth Graves Wakefield, was a graduate of Oliver Ames High School 99 years ago. At her job in the Toll House Inn, she wanted to make something different for her customers. Her original plan involved mixing melted chocolate into a blonde cookie batter. However, she only had a bar of chocolate with her, so she chopped it up, mixed it into the dough, and put it in the oven. And before she knew it, she created an iconic household staple. She tried to improve the cookies she was selling, so she experimented by adding chocolate chunks, and it was a huge success. If I didn't try improving the cranberry oatmeal cookies, I would have never been able to learn that the sugar is there for taste, but also there for structure. I learned from my mistake, and I, in turn, was intrigued by the science of baking. I searched the internet for hours, learning about all the science behind the treats we love eating. I wanted to know it all, so when I made something else, I would have the tools and knowledge to make it work. I strive for perfection in my baking, academics, and all of my other endeavors. But advice I would give to you all as you head out into the real world, and advice I would give to myself, is worded perfectly by the author Jack Canfield. As you begin to take action toward the fulfillment of your goals and dreams, you must realize that not every action will be perfect. Not every action will produce the desired result. Not every action will work. Making mistakes, getting it almost right, and experimenting to see what happens are all part of the process of eventually getting it right. We will always be making mistakes. As we are still growing, we are still learning, and I don't think that will ever end. Let's not be afraid of the unknown, and let's not be afraid to make mistakes along the way, because that is the start of innovation, and that is the start of change. As we move on, I urge you all to think outside of the box and try something new. The education we received here has given us the tools and knowledge to succeed in whatever we want to do. Take a leap of faith and try to start a business, or try to become a social media star, or try to innovate and make the next chocolate chip cookie. Try to make your imagination reality, because we can do it. Don't just sit around and discuss the problems of the world. Do something about it. When we try to do something new, we will make mistakes along the way, of course. But we have to learn from that and try again, and eventually we'll get it right. Step 3, take a breath and relax every once in a while. With the numerous responsibilities we all have on a day-to-day basis, it is so easy to feel lost in the chaos to the point it starts feeling normal. Our plates start to be filled up with so many events and so much work that the stress starts building up, and eventually it feels as if our own little world is crumbling down. As Ferris Bueller said, life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you can miss it. Take a breath and really think about the goals you want to achieve and the reasons behind them, because it is really easy to forget when you keep yourself busy all the time. For any baked good, it takes time to sit in the oven and cook. we have plenty of time to accomplish our goals, and we should take some of it to enjoy the lives we live and the people around us. Following this recipe is not the only way for a successful future. We all have different ones, and as with any good recipe, we should share them with each other. For now, I would like to leave you with the words from the insightful Dr. Seuss. You're off to great places. Today is your day. Your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. Fellow graduates, I wish you the best of luck, and once again, congratulations to the Oliver Ames class of 2019.
Take the mics down. Starting here. Do you want it here or do you want it there? I want the other side. Yep. Drew Leon Cheng. Christopher Scott Pearsons. Paria Marchia. Cameron Francis Bourne. Ryan Michael Murphy. Grace Megan Chang. Catherine Elizabeth Meisner. Edward Craig Boland. Ty J. Elijah Carter. Megan Elizabeth Fox. Victoria Judy Gold. Caitlin Christina Joyce. Henry Robert Simone. Haley Maureen Aborn. Riley Patrick Adams. Chikupikem Matabuchaku Akanabu. Deanna Marie Alasadi. Sarah Emily Alexander. Sarah Michelle Alexander. Sophia Marissa Rose Albert. Michael Clark Anastasio. Catherine Claudia Anderson. Nicole Karen Anand. Margaret Ann Alt. Tyler Samuel Avery. Maria Margaret Aveliz. Malaysia Pauline Patricia Banks. Destiny Lorenza Barros. Liam Dixon Barry. James Francis Beatty. Nora Catherine Bean. Eva Linnea Bellinger. Christopher Thanlong Bellaton. Jordan Luke Bello. Anthony James Berksa. Francesca Rose Berksa. Caroline Josephine Bertoletti. Juliana Susanna Bianchini. Lara Grace Biederwolf. Ryan Samuel Bach. Jared Miles Boone. Jaylene Michaela Boone. Catherine Jean Bossy. Colin Francis Bourne. Jacqueline Ann Brabants. Luke McGregor Brennan. Alex Paul Bookie. Kaylee Louise Burke. Cameron Jeffrey Burton. Ashlyn Paige Butler. Nicholas Richard Byron. Hannah Tracy Cahill. Chloe Anna Carvalho. Caitlin Kathleen Kavanaugh. Zoe Elizabeth Chazen. Jacob Wayne Cherry. Janet Choi. Samantha Rose Clapp. Alex Marie Cora. Sophia Elizabeth Cox. Adrian Roan Cruz.
Gabrielle K. Cunha. Anya Elizabeth Day. Harrison John DeCellis. Selena Joy DaCosta. Cassidy Chartman Delva. Jolene Sabrina DeRolas. Charles James DeVoe. Courtney Catherine DeVoe. Bethany Maud DeWare. Jennifer Ann Dillon. Connor Harrington Dolan. Nolan Eden Donzi. Sarah Margaret Dorr. Jack Hunter Duffy. Hannah Elizabeth Duggan. Nicholas Palmer Duke. Ethan Thomas Ekstrom. Kalen Matthew Edinger. Sandy George Elias. Jake Andrew Ehrlich. Lauren Elizabeth Espinosa. Mia Montea Esterman. Chanel Mary Fakri. Noah Alexander Fain. Daniela Marie Farini. Aaron Jeffrey Fisher. William Austin Fisk. Sean Paul Flaherty. Peter Lewis Flanagan. Stephanie Ann Fletcher. Johanna Rose Foley. Rebecca Jill Foley. Sean Michael Foley. Reese Ann Fowler. Andrew Joseph Frazier. Lindsay Rose Gagnon. Cullen Patrick Gallagher. Prithika Vali Ganesh. April Claire Ganji. Erica Marie Gocher. Nicole Olivia Geary. Kayla Elizabeth Georgiou. Lauren Elizabeth Gianni. Brianna Gail Gibson. Samantha Kate Gilgan. Lindsay Catherine Gilson. Kylie Marie Gleason. Justin Pedrick Glennon. Cassandra Larianne Gluckler. Ashley Morgan Glover. John Kevin Gomes. Gildaris and Ada Gonzalez. Amanda Taylor Gordon. Kyle Wilford Gray. Madison Rose Green. Michael Aiden Green. Cooper Thomas Haggerty. Emmett Jackson Hamilton. Evan Quinn Hamlin. Georgia Lynn Hardy. Stephen Michael Hano. Maeve Marie Hogan. Sophia Inez Hogan. Sadie Francis Homer. Jayla Nave Horton. Rhiannon Page Hurley. Bianca Jade Ilias. Kaylee Elizabeth Jackson. Derek Michael Jackson. Rachel Maya Kaplan. Riley Mark Keith. Morgan Faye Kelly. Meredith Casey Kirchhoff. Sean Robert Krager. Julian Joseph Krauski. Katie Davia Kubel. Madison Olivia Cullen. Gamela Odile Labadie. Gamil Ronid Labadie. Cedric Jean Leonard Lamar. Nathan Edward Lambert. Colleen Nicole Larson. Reed Joseph Latham. Sarah Gabrielle Legier. Andrew Robert Leet. William Jacob Kohler Lerman. Abigail Catherine Less. Emma Colleen Lewis. Jillian Christine Lipper. Sarah Kate Litwack. Allison Marie Long. Endel Louise. Kayla Alana Lozzie. Patrick Kavanaugh Lynch. Adam Harris Lyons. Aaron Acuna McDonald. Marius John Machado. Grace Marissa Maga. Brendan Joseph McGuire. Jalinette Matea Mercado. Hannah Elizabeth Margison. Kyle Christopher Marsh. Gianna Lois Martucci. Grace Margaret McCullum. Catherine Baudet McCarthy. Matthew Paul McCormick. Nicholas Brian McGovern. Aiden Patrick McGinnis. Gabrielle Marie McLaughlin. Jessica Morgan Mead. Isabella Lucia Milo. Benjamin Joseph Mells. Heather Lee Maleka. Mandy Lynn Miller. Samantha Yvonne Millman. Katie Ann Mills. Nicholas Gabriel Monroe. Matthew Montero. Zoleika Janessa Montero. Sarah Michelle Moorcock. Megan Ann Morley. Brendan James Morrison. Griffin Morrill Morse. Joseph Paul Mullally. Shane Patrick Murphy. Andrew Kamau Muyuni. Isabella Sky Natopsky. Rebecca Sarah Needleman. Jacob Samuel Nessen. Aaron Tonmai Nguyen. Tiffany Nugent. Jillian Mackenzie Norton. Sean Joseph O'Brien. Alexandra Riley O'Connor. Madeline Lorraine O'Connor. Connor Alexander O'Reilly Juarez. Timothy John Olson. Dean Anthony Pacini. Timothy Alexander Palmer. Thomas Aiden Parker. Jacob Wade Takeo Payne. Lucas John Padone. Kendra Marie Penner. Alakia Penamarthi. Leah Nicole Perry. Miaja J. Person. Jessica Vutweetney Pham. Olivia Grace Piazza. Molly Elizabeth Pike. Stanley William Pulwick. Philip Arthur Poirier. Callie Nicole Pontiso. Domna Pulimini. Abby Catherine Poulos. Quinn James Proudler. Cameron Robert Puglisi. Chun Hei Pan. Kayla Helen Raleigh. Samuel Enrique Ramirez. Jacqueline Rose Raymond. Isabel Maria Refford. Zane William Rezovitz. Emily Esther Reyes Herrera. Maximilian Sieti Rhodes. Kellen McCabe Rice. Stacia Elizabeth Rice. Mara Caitlin Robillard. Megan Elizabeth Rocky. Hannah Jean Lynn Rosenberger. Garrett Adam Ruggiero. Julia Paige Russo. Darnell Kobe Ryan. Matthew Joseph Saba. Abbas Sabah. Daniel Ryan Sandquist. Megan Elizabeth Sanford. Juliana Elaine Santos McElroy. Athena Sarafoglu. Justin Nadio Sarnecki. Joseph Anthony Savino. J. Marshall Schindler. Mark Anthony Schleifer. Haley Dana Schultz. Allie Hope Skolnick. Jonathan Kyle Sergio. Sydney Alexandra Shea. Alexandra Lynn Sheldon. Hannah Rose Shilikowski. Alexandria Lynn Simoes, who could not be here, and her brother accepting her diploma, Cameron Joseph Simoes. Jillian Marie Sims. Jillian Ann Smith. Jacqueline Miyoki Sampaio Soma. Jared Cole Spillane. Jackson Nye Stanley. Madison Taylor Stone. Maeve Catherine Stowe. Ryan John Temasanis. Billy Tran Tat. Matthew Anthony Texera. Anna Lucia Tempesteso. Kim Win Nuoi Tai. Chelsea Elizabeth Tebow. Luke Francis Tebow. Jonathan Asher Talub. Ryan Patrick Torgerson.
Congratulations.
Colleen Marie Tracy.
Congratulations.
Juliana Rose Trefiro. Kimberly Trong. Marcelli Tucker Shudra. Audrey Jane Vargas. Alana Ivy Vaughn. Justin Joel Vega Lopez. Anna Corinne Vadoni. Nope, you're good. Gabriella May Vinacor. Caitlin Elizabeth Walsh. Kaylee Ann Walsh. Kaylee Elizabeth Walsh. And she is accepting her brother Thomas James Walsh's diploma as well. He could not be here. Riley Ann Walsh. Sadie Veronica Walton. Max Michael Ward. Samantha Avery Waxman. Nicholas James Weatherby. Grace Ann Weintraub. Evan Christopher Whitelaw. Brett Matthew Williams. Ansley Gianna Winters. Ansley. Sorry, Ansley. Garrett Anderson Wood. Brenna Eileen Woods. Kristen Alyssa Wright. David Richard Young. Jacob Cleon Youngsworth.